Hi, good afternoon, and welcome to the press conference of the Donostia Award of the 69th edition of the San Sebastian Film Festival. I think that invited guest doesn't need to be presented, Mr. Johnny Depp, who will receive this evening the award, and it's a pleasure to have him here with us as of last year, who visited us with a film, but this year he will be tributed with the award.
I mean, I will later.
Perfect. A lot of hands have been raised, so let's start with the questions. Please, the questions should focus upon the professional career of Mr. Depp. That's why he's here, to pay tribute to his cinematographic career or film career. And let's start with the back, out the back there, and I'll write down the names of whoever's raising their hand. Okay. I hope you can hear me, Mr. Depp. Hi. Congratulations for the award, first of all. And I would like to ask a couple of questions. The first is about when you started out, your first film was Nightmare on Elm Street, and then you've continued associated to the fantasy and horror films, and I'd like to ask you about that preference for horror films, or you have a special preference for horror films. And secondly, it's just mere curiosity, your portrayal in the film Tusk by Kevin Smith as a character who was quite real of Killer Le Poing. I'd like to know whether you could talk about you appearing in that film. Thank you very much. Oh, okay, he's asking you, if you had the headphones on earlier on, you would have got all that. I'm trying to remember what he said. He was asking you, Mr. Depp, can you hear me? Can you hear me, Mr. Depp? Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Mr. Depp? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay. Can you, Mr. Depp? No.
Either.
Mr. Depp, 1, 2. Moment. Mr. Depp, can you hear me now? Oh, good. He's going to repeat the question, if that's, he'll be so kind, if that's okay. He's going to repeat the question. Okay.
I got you now.
Vale.
First of all, I was just saying, congratulate you for the award, and thank you very much for all of your performances in your career. 2 questions. The first of these is, given your first film was Nightmare on Elm Street, a very real, it's a saga which is of a terror and fantasy genre, and then you've worked a lot in that genre as well. I would like to know whether you have a special, you like horror roles or these types of genre films in horror, apart from the things that you've obviously performed other roles. But second question has to do with your appearance in a film, Tusk, by Kevin Smith as Guy Lapointe, which I think is quite curious. And could you talk about that as well? Thank you very much once again.
But, what was the question again? No, I'm kidding. Yeah, I've chosen to. I don't know. I was chosen by the character almost of these people that I played. You know, that I've had the opportunity to play. It's a very strange thing when you have the image of all these Mazel Tov, of all these incarnations, various incarnations of yourself, before you, when you see photographs or slice of footage of these characters, it takes me back to the memory of making the film and the feeling of being the character, but it's a strange thing. You pass them by, like, you know, not that you pass them by, it's like you put them away, and they reside in some dresser drawer inside you. You know, they're still there. The greatest actors for me were in my early years. I got lucky and started. I started watching silent films on television, and I really loved that in those films, whether it was a personality character like a Buster Keaton or the Tramp, Charlie Chaplin or whatever, what they were capable, or Lon Chaney Sr., who was the greatest character actor of all time, he made the effort to change himself to represent other people that he'd observed, you know. So each character kind of becomes it's almost like a recipe for some sort of dish. The character that I played in Tusk with Kevin Smith, as soon as he said he's a French-Canadian private investigator, I suddenly knew how far the character would be able to go, where you're riding the line of too much or just enough or interesting or something or ridiculous. I don't know. As an actor, I think that the first rule is that you must be willing to go ahead and just stand sort of naked and be willing to fall flat on your face by the various choices, or choices you made or choices that you didn't make, for example. Thank you.
Muchas gracias. Sí.
Thank you very much. We have another question. Hi, good afternoon. Congratulations, Johnny. More than deserved this award you're going to receive. The question is about whether you see that artists like you are a bit unprotected in this time of cancellations, for example. Judgments are carried out via the social media, and this has directly affected a lot of artists without really knowing the truth of the facts, because people believe that they are legitimized to talk about the private life of an artist because they believe they know them on the social media. You as an actor and as a person with an enormous dimension and career, how do you see this situation?
It's a complex, very complex it's a very complex situation, because it can be seen as an event in history that lasted for however long it lasted for. This cancel culture, or this instant rush to judgment based on essentially what amounts to polluted air that's exhaled. Do I feel safe myself? Yeah, I do. I do now. Because it's important when you're faced with something as mind-bogglingly bewildering. That sort of thing hits you from many, many angles. First is, what? What? So, because maybe, you know, quite a while back now, prior to the various movements that came out, a couple with, I'm sure, the best of intentions. However, it's so far out of hand now that I can promise you that no one is safe. Not one of you. Not one of you. Not anyone out that door. No one is safe as long as someone is willing to say one sentence. Takes one sentence and then there's no more ground. The carpet's been pulled. But it's not just me, you know. This has happened to. It's happened to a lot of people. This type of thing has happened to women, men, children who've suffered from various types of unpleasantries that sadly at a certain point they begin to think that it's normal or that it's them when it's not. Nobody out there, we don't know what anyone's thinking at any moment. But I believe that, yeah, no one's safe. But I believe that if you are armed with the truth, then that's all you need. It doesn't matter if a judgment per se has taken some artistic license. No. When there's an injustice, whether it's against you or someone you love or someone you believe in, stand up. Don't sit down. Don't sit down on them, you know, because they need you.
Sí. Quizás sí.
Thanks.
Tenemos... Gracias.
We've got more questions. Perhaps we can go back to Mr. Depp's career. We've got a question, and the yes, just there. That's right. Welcome, Mr. Depp. Last week, the Association of Women Directors in Spain criticized the award that you're going to be receiving tonight. They said specifically that it wasn't the time because there was evidence of abuse, gender abuse. I would like to know whether you have something to say to them, and how has all this affected your career in Hollywood? Excuse me, we've said at the beginning that we were not going to address any questions of this nature, and we're going to talk about his career. If you have any questions related to this, we'd be more than pleased. No, I'm sorry. Well, let's go on to the next question. Thank you.
From Portugal, Rui, and I have two small questions. So, if you would meet now the young Johnny Depp, what could be a career advice that you could give him? And also in Portugal, there will be a...
Walk backwards.
And also there will be a festival in Lisbon and Sintra next month, and we're going to celebrate Roman culture, Gypsy culture. What do you think about this kind of celebration? I was just curious.
Well, put it this way, I know that a gypsy wedding is a 3-day event. So any celebration outside of that would probably have to be 10 days to 2 weeks. A lot of people falling. I have a great passion for that culture, for the Rom, and have learned a lot from the various musicians and people who, living that way, that lifestyle. I've learned a lot from them. Sintra is a beautiful place. I ended up shooting quite a bit of the film many years ago with Roman Polanski down in Sintra and Porto, and yeah, it was quite beautiful. Yeah, loved it.
Bien. Tenemos
Okay, we have another question here, one more question. Yes, wait for the microphone, please. Congratulations, Johnny, for your work. I've followed your career for many years now. I think you're an incredible actor, titanic, polyhedric, and I'm an actress, I'm a director. I am now with a long script, but excuse me to do so, but to ask this question, but when you choose your project, what do you base yourself on? What do you guide yourself on to choose a character instead of another character? And then, for example, when you want to participate in or someone offers you a job, what criteria do you use with your heart or with your mind? What makes you choose one job or another to see which way you want to go? To see what makes you choose what you choose and what you leave out, that is to say. So therefore, she's asking, what do you base yourself upon when you choose a project or another? What are the characteristics that you use? Do you use your heart or your mind? That is, your heart or your mind when you choose one character or one project or another?
Definitely, yeah. No, I understand. Yeah, thank you very much, and thank you. I've always relied on instinct or intuition and the initial emotion or the initial feeling or the initial spark or idea that might come from a character or any character in a screenplay. Just reading through the first time. Normally, what I do is if I can get past 10-15 pages, it's all right. If I can't, there's just nothing. It's just air. It's like drinking air. But when something in the character puts a barb or a hook in you on some emotional level that you can relate to, or that you feel you could add to. So it's almost, basically, I choose the characters that I believe that I might have something unique to add to that particular character. And because they either fascinate me, the mind, or they dive inside your heart, but they're all strangely intertwined, even, from the worst, the nastiest to Edward Scissorhands. There is some sort of monofilament that holds them all together, which is somewhere in the background, I guess, me behind the curtain. But I, like I was saying earlier, sometimes you see a section of film or a couple of photographs of characters that you've played, and you see like 4 or 5 there, and you go, my God, how they should have fired me a long time ago. Long time ago. Yeah, I consider myself very lucky. Thank you. Thanks.
Gracias.
Thank you. We have another question here. Hi, Johnny. Over here. Hi, welcome. Congratulations for this award. I would like to ask you, how do you see your artistic future as an actor? We will see you on the big screen after the photograph of Minamata, after Minamata. And if you were offered now, for example, to portray Captain Jack Sparrow, how would you take the role, with illusion or with a bit of fear, or how would you feel about portraying Jack Sparrow again?
Well, here's the I suppose this is the positive side of having, in a strange way, given life to those characters like Captain Jack or whatever character that I was lucky enough to locate and bring to life. The beauty of Captain Jack Sparrow for me is that I can travel with Captain Jack in a box. Literally, Captain Jack in a box. And when the opportunity is right, I'm able to go and visit people places where the smiles and the laughs and the things that are important, the most important things in the world, are on the line. So I still travel with Captain Jack, and if I have the opportunity, whenever I do, I will go to these places. I'll go to somebody's house, man. I'll perform in your kid's birthday party at this point. But for that, I'm able to experience. I know what is a harsh proposition that people are looking. Sometimes there are children in hospitals, and you see such courage in their eyes, but you can make them dive out of. They can leave that for 3, 4, 5, 7 minutes and laugh and giggle and have a great time. And the parents who are normally standing there dying themselves because of their inability to help their child, if you can make them smile a little, laugh a little, forget a little, even if it's for 30 seconds, that for me is what Captain Jack Sparrow is all about. So if they came to me, let's not even think that. If I think that the people who understand or know or get or are touched, or he's so ignorant that he makes you laugh. If they're moved by Captain Jack Sparrow in any way, I don't need a company to do that. I can just do that myself, and nobody can take that away. So that's the greatest pleasure of Jack Sparrow. As far as the cinema, as far as the films, we did what we did, you know. It was a kind of a strange, abrupt halt, but these are strange, abrupt times. So yeah, again, he's never going to leave me, and he's always going to be ready to go and say stupid stuff to make people laugh, to make them forget about the nastiness at times in life. And I mean that with every morsel straight down to my black-hearted, weaselly-gutted soul. Thank you.
Gracias. Sí, allá.
Okay, at the back, there's someone in yellow who's been asked to ask a question at the beginning. I'm trying to allow you all to ask a question, but there's so many of you, and we're a bit... Hi, good afternoon, Mr. Depp. Welcome to the San Sebastian International Film Festival, and congratulations for the Donosti Award. You were with us last year, a year which was quite complex for holding any types of events of this magnitude. You're coming back and you're coming back again, yeah, but in that occasion, you brought a magnificent documentary, and you're coming back this year to collect the Donostia Award. There's no doubt you're a great friend of the festival, so thank you so much. And in this sense, my question is, you've got a long career as an actor. You've portrayed roles for a minority audiences and other blockbusters, but with an extraordinary creativity. My question is, have you seen the industry evolve, if such is the case, and how do you assess that? How do you value how the industry's going?
Well, at this moment, myself personally, after being in the racket for 30 plus years now, and experiencing various things, learning really, you know, learning the game of Hollywood, just so that you would not have to play it. You could duck and dodge and dive through it. Hollywood is certainly not what it was, and they can pretend to be, but Hollywood, the studio system, the grudge matches, the pandemonium and chaos of cinematic release to streaming to it is a case of no matter what, I'm gonna get mine. I mean, that's where these people are coming from. They realize that they're just as disposable as I am, you know, some more. So large corporations take hold of these things, and from my point of view, as I wouldn't call myself an artist, but as someone who does take part in the creation of and the collaboration of making cinema, how much more formula do we need from the likes of studios? How much more condescension as an audience do we need with regard to, okay folks, we're now going to hit you with the whole plot of the story every 20 minutes. I've said this for a long time. I think that Hollywood has grotesquely underestimated the audience. I think that I think the audiences, they will watch what they're given. They have choices, and they will watch what they're given, what there is to watch. I think the coronavirus and the pandemic, sending everyone into their houses, obviously had grave effects on many, many people health-wise, but small businesses or theaters and this and that. What it also did was it put people in their houses with their families for long, long periods of time with television that they could watch virtually any movie they wanted. And the majority of the world went, you know, this ain't bad. This ain't bad. We can sit and watch this thing at home. We can cook up some popcorn. We could do this. We could do whatever. As opposed to the idea of a guy who makes, you know, $700 a week, and he wants to take his wife and kids out to dinner and a movie on the weekend. That's a $200 deal with parking and the whole business or whatever. It's a big deal. So I think that the Hollywood movie machine has a few design flaws that they're just realizing. I'm glad I saw them coming, personally. Thank you.
Sí, tenemos.
Yes, we have another question. Hi, Johnny. Congratulations for this Donostia Award, which recognizes an impressive career and that has made you so popular. I would like to ask you, who are you going to remember tonight when you receive the award this evening, which is so prestigious? Who's going to come to mind when you receive it this evening?
Well, first and foremost, the undying support of the festival. Everyone involved, Jose Luis, I mean, all the way to the town, to the mayor, for not buying for not buying what has been for far too long a product of a portion of some notion of me that doesn't exist. And I was understanding if I thought it best that my presence here would offend people, that of course worried me, because I don't want to offend anyone. I haven't done anything. I just make movies. But everything in me knew that after having attended this festival, San Sebastian, for over the many years, 3-4 times, it's a place that I've always loved and respected for, well, for being a real film festival, a proper film festival that's not about schmoozing, and it's not about, it's about the films, and it's about the filmmaker. And for me to have been chosen to receive such a prestigious honor is very touching, it's very moving, and I'm super honored. I don't, awards themselves are a strange beast. When it requires competition, I just don't like the idea of competition. I don't, myself personally, I never wanted to compete with anybody. I still don't want to. Everybody's just trying to do their best to get to tomorrow, right? So just the mere fact that there was somehow, probably by fluke mistake, my name came out of the hat to receive this, and I am. It's something that I hold in high honor. I really feel humbled by it, and always happy to come back here.
Muy bien, gracias. Tenemos ahí.
Okay, thank you very much. We have another question. This person has been waiting. Welcome, first of all, and over here. Congratulations for the award. My question has to do with the characters that you portrayed throughout your career. What genre have you felt more comfortable in, or what have you liked least in regards to portraying certain characters? Thank you very much.
You just reminded me. Oh, sorry. I just said I'm sorry to a microphone. I have to go. Goodbye. You reminded me of something, a section of a question that the gentleman asked earlier about genres and things regarding cinema. When I was a little kid, silent film was very important to me because there was a public television station that showed all these incredible Chaplins and Keatons and Lon Chaney's. And then what replaced that as I got a little older were the black and white horror films, of course, you know, the Frankenstein and Dracula, Wolfman, all that. And so I was always a big fan of horror films, you know, and which was one of the things that Tim Burton and I, when we first met, connected on, these obscure horror films. So I guess what I loved about the horror genre was that one could hide behind the makeup, the mask. One could escape the weight or the gravity of who you are, of yourself, you know. It helps to put you in wearing prosthetic makeup or changing the way you look. It helps to take me further away from the novelty of my name, you know. It becomes this kind of circular, just continuous. You again. I'm constantly thinking about the character and where he may have gone wrong or where he may have done this or that. So, yeah, I feel far more comfortable hiding behind prosthetics or hiding behind a character than actually having to be myself. It's weird. When you get more comfortable in front of a camera as a character than you are on a train, something's gone wrong somewhere. Thank you.
Bueno, lo siento, lo lamento.
Sorry, but Mr. Depp has to leave because he's got to get ready for receiving the award this evening. Sorry for the people that didn't ask all the questions, but the truth is we've got a limited amount of time. I just want to thank you very much, Mr. Depp, for being here in San Sebastian, and best of luck this evening. Best of luck this evening receiving the of luck this evening.
Very good. You're very kind. Thank you. I'm very honored. Yes.